This week in East Brunswick, basketball was the name of the game as the New York football Giants played and were beaten by Lions Club All-Stars at the high school. John Magliero was there and got exclusive courtside interviews with former Giants Terry Jackson and Brian Kelly. Following the basketball action, we'll meet ballerina Linda Bechtold. Raised in Edison, New Jersey, Linda now dances with the Jofrrey II Ballet. Dolly Vasta interviewed her before last Saturday's performance at Birdie Co. Votech High School. This week on Kids Comments, Gayle Solomon will review Call Me Ruth by Marilyn Sachs. Also this week, we'll cover the East Brunswick Schools Student Art Awards program at the library. On Consumer Aware, Adrian Eisner will offer last-minute tips on securing someone to prepare your taxes. And finally, our Township Council News Review. All coming up on This Week in East Brunswick. As more and more people in East Brunswick have begun to watch Channel 8, there's been an increasing demand for tours of our studio. For the past few weeks, first graders from Central School have visited us at the library. We appreciate your interest and will try to accommodate all who would like a tour. All we ask is that groups be kept as small as possible and that scheduling be done well in advance to ensure that your visit will not conflict with our already busy schedule. For further information, call the studio at 390-6780. Now let's join John Magliero for a pre-game interview.
We're now pleased to have with us Tom Field, who's chairman of this basketball game this evening, as well as Bob Levin, who is president of the Lions Club. Tom, first of all, I know you arranged this this game tonight. Interesting story about J.T. Turner. Would you convey it with us?
JT is an employee of mine. We work together in the off-season in sales, and JT is the coordinator who gets the Giants down to East Brunswick every year. This is our second annual event.
And supposedly you've been bragging to JT how we're going to whip them this year, right?
Well, we're looking forward to it. We have some good basketball players, some repeat young men from last year, and we think we're going to have a very competitive game, and hopefully East Brunswick will be the winner. The Giants are undefeated as of this point.
Tom, or rather Bob,
yes.
What does this game do for the Lions Club and for the community here?
Well, for the Lions Club, it lets the community know who we are, number one, and the fact that we do a lot of good work in the community of East Brunswick. Last year, we donated money for the Kurzweil machine in the library. This year, we want to supplement that equipment by providing another piece of equipment which enlarges the print so that the visually handicapped can read in the library by enhancing the size of the print.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us, and let's enjoy the game.
Thank you.
By the end of the third quarter, the score was tied at 62-62. Now let's join John Magliero for an interview and then watch the rest of the action.
We're pleased to have with us two of the more famous Giants, one former Giant. Two former Giants. That's right, Terry's been traded. Terry Jackson to my left and Brian Kelly to my right. Terry, did it come as a shock to you, the trade?
No, not really. I had a feeling toward the end of the season that something would happen at the end of the season. It did, and you know, I wish the Giants well. I know it's a long way for me to go, but I'm originally from the West Coast, and I'm looking forward to the move.
Great, Brian. How about yourself?
Well, I'm looking forward to going out to San Diego. It wasn't really a shocker because me and Bill Purcell had talked before about maybe a possibility of a trade. So I'm glad it worked out for me as far as going to San Diego because I played college ball out in California. So it's an opportunity for me to go out there and help a young defense, and they have the potential to go all the way every year. So it's a good way to finish out a career. I look at it that way, playing in some nice weather for a change.
Brian, let me ask you. Is this a management decision on part of the Giants in terms of wholesale changes? Is that going to turn around this team?
Well, I don't know. I can't really answer if it's going to turn around the team, but you know, it's a wholesale process by the Giants management. They feel they have to change, you know, positions somewhere and try to get something new going. So I guess that's their philosophy this year. So I can't say it's going to help them or what's going to happen, but you know, I wish them the best this year.
Terry, one last question. The Giants seem to be rebuilding, as Brian just mentioned. It's management decision. What do you think the Giants need now that you've left the team?
Well, I think the Giants can compete with any team in the NFL right now. But I think the key ingredient is just a mental attitude, a positive mental attitude. For so many years, the Giants have been losing, and that's been ingrained in the organization, not only in the players, but from top to bottom. And I think once you weed that out, I think the Giants will be very competitive.
Terry, is the USFL a serious consideration for you?
Of course it is. The bottom line for me, like for you, is whoever wants to pay you the most money, that's where you're going to play. And I'm considering all options at this point.
Okay, Terry, good luck to you, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Brian, good luck to you with San Diego. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Now back to the game for the last minute of play. There's the final score, the home team beating the Giants 83-74. Now let's join Dolly Vasta for her interview with ballerina Linda Bechtold.
Now this afternoon you're going to be doing, you're going to be working out in class, and we hope to pick up some pieces of that later on, but you're going to be doing a class.
And then we're going to be rehearsing Momentum.
That will be done tonight.
That'll be done tonight.
Program
Yes.
for tonight.
That's the second ballet tonight. And tonight is the first time we'll be performing this ballet.
Oh, so that's kind of
So
exciting, huh?
it's really exciting.
How do you feel about performing near your own hometown with so many people coming up?
I'm so excited. I couldn't sleep last night. Yeah, it just like kept going through my mind that, well, who's going to be here? And when I went home this afternoon for breakfast, my mom was telling me more people who were coming. And it's just great for them to see what I've done, you know, so now they can really see my dedication and understand my life.
Well, you know, it's funny because in my office all week, I've had a lot of people come in, they've said to me, we know Linda. We had to get tickets. We know Linda. We're coming up to see Linda.
Yes, oh no.
So I felt like even before I met you earlier that I really did know.
Yes. Oh, it's great. I'm really excited.
When you go out on tour now, your bus, I noticed out there, I didn't get a chance to go through it, but is that fitted up with sleeping accommodations or just be comfortable?
It's a regular bus, and we, the dancers, we bring our own sleeping bags and pillows on it. Well, right now we don't have anything on it because there's only an hour ride.
Right. It's a little hard to
Yes.
camp out overnight when you're 45 minutes from Manhattan.
Exactly, but when we're on tour for months at a time, we have sleeping bags, pillows, and on our way we pick up souvenirs and tape them to the walls, and we have a TV and a VHS, because some days we'll travel 12, 14 hours straight, and it gets a little monotonous, so we have that. And plus, we also use it for learning purposes, so we can watch the ballets.
It's a marvelous tool.
Oh yes, that's
to watch your performance.
how we learned momentum, which we'll be performing.
Really?
Is we all learned it from the videotape, and Chusan Go, who's the choreographer, he just came in 2 days ago, and he started cleaning it up and making sure we had the right counts.
And you actually
we
learn
are.
the whole thing from the tape
Oh
itself,
yes,
then.
yeah.
Do you ever watch yourself on tape? Do you ever do they ever do video, practice video?
They haven't, because we haven't had time.
Yeah.
Because we're always either learning ballets and performing them or on the road. But when we do a new ballet, they videotape it. So then that's the opportunity for us to see ourselves on tape.
Yes. How did you feel the first time you ever saw it?
I hated it. I hated it. It's they give you corrections in class and all the time, and it's hard to feel the corrections. If you pull up your shoulders or something, and you try hard, but until you really see it,
That's
then
right.
you can really understand. And so by watching, I was able to really see what I looked like, and I made many changes.
I think it's even worse hearing your voice.
The rest of Dolly's interview with Linda Bechtold will make up next month's edition of For Art's Sake. Watch for it the third week in May. March is Youth Art Month in town, and the school system has been celebrating in style, beginning with the display of artwork from throughout the schools on the walls of the library. Last Saturday, the finale of the month took place before a full house in the library's meeting rooms, as student artists received awards of recognition. Kenneth Koppel, head of the Arts and Humanities for the schools, spoke briefly before giving out the awards.
We're very happy to be here with you to celebrate your children's creativity. In East Brunswick, we're very fortunate in having a school system that gives all students the opportunity to learn about art and to express themselves through their art. We've had many students who go on to careers in commercial art, photography, ceramics, and other areas of art. However, art classes are not just for students who plan careers in art. Many of our graduates use the skills they learned in art classes in their leisure time. Also, having the ability to appreciate art enriches all of our lives. There have been many reports about our schools, the crisis in our schools, the Reagan report, and many other reports that you've read in the paper. And we think the most important one was by Dr. Ernest Boyer, who was the president of the Carnegie Foundation. His was one of the most exhaustive and most important reports ever done. And he said, and most of the other reports also did make mention, important mention, we think, of the arts. In Boyer's report, he said that the arts are an essential part of the human experience. They are not a frill. We recommend that all students study the arts to discover how human beings use nonverbal symbols and communicate not only with words, but through music, dance, and the visual arts. As you know, what we're doing today is celebrating the month of March, which is the National Recognition of Youth Art Month. And we do this annually, and I'm happy to say that many of the names on this list are some of the same people that I called last year to receive awards. We're going to have another very special day just about 2 months from tomorrow. On Sunday, May 20th, we will be having our Arts Festival. We used to have the Arts Festival in East Brunswick for many, many years, and we haven't had a festival for about 3 or 4 years. But we're going to have a very, very, I think, special and large festival of all the arts, including industrial arts and gymnastics, and be outdoors. And so it won't be like today where the weather is where we can't enjoy the weather will be outdoors on that day at the high school, and you'll be receiving more information about that as time goes on. But that should be a very, very special event. As our teachers...
Our congratulations to all the winners. Next up, Kids' Comments.
Call Me Ruth by Marilyn Sachs. I like this book very much and would recommend it to preteens and teenagers. It's about the daughter of a Russian immigrant family newly arrived in New York City in 1908 who has conflicting feelings about her mother's increasingly radical union involvement. The characters were alive, realistic, and exciting, especially Rivka or Ruth. The theme Marilyn Sachs wanted to get across was that sometimes things get tough, but if you hang on, it will turn out for the best. This story tells about what some immigrants went through when they first came to America. Although the story is fiction, it seemed real because it was so interesting I could feel Rivka's struggles. The cover of the book is dull because it only depicts a girl with peddlers in the background, but don't let that fool you. This book is worth reading. Adults might also like the story. It is written so that it is not too old for kids and not too young for adults.
Now let's join Adrienne Eisner for this week's edition of Consumer Aware.
Hello, and welcome once again to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Who will prepare your income taxes this year? Approximately 38% of all taxpayers hire someone to do their taxes for them. Whether or not you pay for assistance, you are still responsible for making sure that your taxes are prepared accurately and filed on time. The quality and price of tax preparation services can vary greatly. If you decide you need assistance, you should shop around to find the preparer best suited to your needs. There are several types of tax preparers. An enrolled agent is certified by the IRS after having worked 5 years as an IRS auditor or after passing a government exam. Enrolled agents are authorized to represent you before the IRS. A certified public accountant, or CPA, has passed a professional qualifying exam. CPAs also are authorized to represent you before the IRS. Some attorneys also prepare tax returns, and they too are authorized to represent you before the IRS. A public accountant may have special training, but he is not certified and cannot represent you before the IRS. There also are individuals who may have special training or experience. Several preparation firms have extensive training and experience requirements for their staffs. To find the preparer that best suits your needs, call several and ask these important questions. What is your training or experience in preparing income tax returns? The more complex your tax situation, the more you may wish to get the advice of someone with specialized experience. What do you do to check for accuracy? Does someone else double-check errors? If so, are they reviewed for arithmetic errors only or also for errors in tax interpretation? Approximately how much will you charge for preparing my tax return, and how is that fee determined? Where can you be reached later in the year if I need help with an audit? Can you represent me if IRS audits my return? And if so, how much would you charge? When you visit the preparer, expect certain things. A preparer should go through a checklist to see which deductions you are qualified to take. A preparer should also sign your return and enter his or her name and Social Security number or federal identification number. This should be on the return. A preparer should not guarantee you a refund before he actually does your return. or suggest that you claim non-existent deductions, or commit any other improprieties. A preparer should not ask you to sign a blank return or a return that has been filled in pencil. You should gather and bring to the preparer any information or documents that might apply to your taxes, including a copy of your last year's return. Remember, too much information is always better than too little. After your return is prepared, check it to make sure that all the information is correct, and always maintain a copy for your own records. Although this is a subject most of us would like to postpone thinking about it, it is wise to get started early and avoid the last-minute panic. If you have any question about income tax preparers, please call us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're there Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. Hope to see you again next week.
Our Township Council coverage, along with the rest of This Week in East Brunswick, had to be canceled last week because of Thursday's snowstorm, which closed the library. The major council news last week was the passage of the municipal budget. This week, East Brunswick and Storr, it was announced at the council meeting, reached an accord on their proposed rate increase. The township won't contest the rate hike, but won't be obligated to pay the increase until a rebuild is complete. Storr is currently replacing 200 miles of underground and above-ground cable in town. The council is expected to approve the agreement at next week's meeting. For the consumer, this will mean a raise in installation fees from $27 to $29.50 and a basic monthly service from $8.25 to $11.95. Also, because of the snowstorm, we had to cancel Gourmet Cooking the Easy Way, which will be shown next week. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.